I am absolutely crushed to have to bring you this update on the Cassidy Rainwater case. We only just posted this case the other day. This is the one that was chock full of rumors, and unfortunately, some of those rumors happen to be true. Content warning on this topic that we are about ready to discuss. I will not show you graphic images. We are going to be outlining facts. We will not be sensationalizing, or at least we'll do our best not to. We are also not going to be accusing anyone of anything, as all people are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. What I say and what I do on my video is of personal opinion, and I am reporting on publicly available news. Don't send hate to anyone. If you participate in the comments below, please know that I will not be tolerating any hate or any rumors about this case. So, there's a difference between speculation that is contributing to a discussion, and then there's just blatant lies. So, since some of those rumors does happen to be true, I would like to know, did someone know something and just did nothing? Did someone steal information or leak it? Or just overheard something and then ran with it? Because I still condemn the rumor mill. That kind of rumor could compromise the trial. And most importantly, just think about the horrible stress that's put on the family or the friends of Rainwater. Reading about this, listening to these really disgusting details, and unable to talk with people about what they're going through, unable to correct these disgusting things, and they just having to sit there and listen to it all, basically. For goodness sakes, Rainwater has children. They are going to be exposed to this crap eventually, on top of the actual terrible thing that happened. So, I do not want to, but let's talk about what did happen. My source is the news, and they posted official court documents. That's where my information is coming from. So, Rainwater has been located. She is no longer missing. And her body was found near the Moon Valley property. Not on, near it. Norton and Phelps, their charges have been changed to first-degree murder and abandonment of a corpse. I do believe they still have the kidnapping charges as well. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and give you our second content warning. If you don't want to hear any details, I totally understand. And I will talk to you guys later on a different case. Or you could fast forward right to the end and you can hear my closing statement. But I understand if you don't want to hear the details. So, let's jump in. Basically, on the photos that the person gave to the FBI showed Rainwater in the cage, but that was only the partial information for that. There was also photos of Rainwater bound to a gantry crane. For people who don't know, this is a type of thing that it goes outside and you put wild game on it, and that's what you use to process your wild game. So that's what people could have been talking about with, bodies in the trees and all that stuff. Not that they would really be able to see or know, and if they did see or know, why didn't they turn this in? Okay, so, yeah, that's the facts. Those photos showed her in a cage and tied to this machine. Not a machine, but yeah. This crane. Investigators also found that thing, the gantry from the photos, on the property. I think they said it was out back of the house. They found blood evidence and human meat in the freezers, and it was labeled for July 24th. That is the DNA evidence that we've all been waiting on. They tested this and found out that it was Rainwater. Rainwater's skeleton was found near the property. They also had more digital evidence to show that this murder was premeditated and planned to have happened on July 24th. The anonymous family member was revealed through these court documents. I really don't see it necessary to continue to reveal their name, so I will not be doing that. But there is some new information on these documents that was released with all this info, and I'd like to go ahead and get into some of those details. We learn that this anonymous family member tells law enforcement that the last person Cassidy Rainwater had contact with was a person named James Rainwater, which then it was later to be revealed to be James Phelps. So, I don't know why they said his last name was Rainwater. I'm not sure if that's what Cassidy told them. We can only speculate here, so I'm not really going to, because I feel like this case has had enough of that, and it's already going to trial and everything like that, so I'm just going to wait for, details to come forward. It is kind of interesting, though, that explains why and how they knew to go to James Phelps. Anyway, I also need to correct more information from my podcast and my blog. Deputy CC went out on August 25th to interview Phelps, not Sergeant RS. Deputy CC was the one that did not find any signs of Cassidy that day, and he kind of looked around the property. September 1st, 2021, it was Sergeant RS that interviewed Phelps. Furthermore, Phelps told him Rainwater had been staying there a couple of weeks. Then Phelps said about a month prior to this date, Cassidy got in the car in the dark after talking about going to Colorado. I just thought that was interesting that he said that she was only there a couple of weeks, but then a month ago she left to Colorado. On September 16th, we now know that the FBI got those photos. They received those actually as a cyber tip, so people who are wondering. Again, people are speculating here, just so everybody knows. The only thing we know is that it was turned in via a cyber tip, and that the photos were titled Cassidy. This is where we learn about her body being mutilated, as she was depicted in the cage partially nude, but she was also bound to the gantry crane in those photos. When Sergeant RS went to the scene that day on September 16th, he was able to see that it was the same one from the photos, which prompts Phelps' arrest, and then he asks for warrants on the property and the electronic devices. Whilst they're doing their investigation of the crime scene, which took several days with a few other agencies, we already know that, they found the gantry crane. It was located outside behind the house. So, again, dispelling some of these rumors that we were hearing. And also inside the house, there was a possible blood evidence in there. And then the human meat in the refrigerator, or the freezer, that was labeled 0724. This was confirmed later to be Rainwater by DNA. Then Cassidy's skeleton was located in an adjacent property to the Moon Valley property, and that's where Phelps had disposed of them. So, dispelling the rumors that she was swinging from trees and people were seeing it, all this other crazy stuff. Again, if they did, they should have turned this in. And 2, she wasn't found this way. They didn't find her body this way. She was skeletal remains at this point. found in an adjacent property. So, hard details to discuss, but these are the facts. So, on September 17th, the Dallas County Sheriff's Office, Sergeant L and Agent A, they tried to interview Phelps. He refuses, and he invokes his rights to an attorney right away. So, we were kind of led to believe... Here, I'll get to that in a second. Right, so we were kind of led to believe that Phelps tattled, basically, and told about Norton, but I'm assuming here that that's not true, because if he shut down and asked for his attorney, I think they probably found out about Norton through the digital evidence, so they went to Norton, obviously, after this. FBI Agent A and then an Agent H, or maybe this might have been a Dallas County person too, but two people interview Norton, and they find out, he just confesses to the murder right there. Norton says that Phelps asked him to come over, like we've already heard, and we've already had the quotes for this. Rainwater was allegedly asleep. Norton said that Phelps had Rainwater sleep on the floor by the front door so they could easily attack her. Norton said he held her legs down whilst Phelps strangled her and then put a bag on top of her head. They took a break, then they carried her body outside. Phelps was the one who attached her to the gantry crane. Phelps was the one that started to eviscerate and dismember her. Norton carries her body parts to the bathtub in the home. So, we don't really know how the cage fits into the situation. I'm sure more details will come out in the upcoming court cases. The Dallas County Sheriff's Office did just release a statement basically covering everything that we've already talked about. They also said there isn't currently any evidence for other murders or victims. So, that's been hard for people to agree with. Most people, when hearing this news about Rainwater, they all conclude that these men must have been doing this for a while. Even my own husband, in his words, you don't just wake up to murder and dismember a human being randomly one day. So, like I said, I don't really feel like speculating. I don't think there's a point anymore. Except for if you happen to have some tips about this, turn them in. Just turn those in. Don't be surprised if they take a while to get to you, though, because I feel like they had an agenda for this court date, and they're very focused on getting that agenda done. So, speaking of court dates, Norton will be in court on November 23rd and Phelps on November 19th. These are criminal hearings. This isn't the technical court date, I think. So, basically, these criminal... I'm really bad at legal stuff, but if I understand right, this is a, place where they have to prove that they've got enough evidence for an actual trial date. So, that's what these are. So, from here, I just want to conclude with my own personal opinion. This is why you don't do the true crime rumor mill thing. You just don't. This is an ongoing investigation. The judicial system, they've got a lot of red tape and laws that need to be handled just so. And it's really evident that they were going for a slam dunk on this murder trial. And if you can convolute it with anything else, you might not get these two prosecuted, which is freaking awful. They need to be prosecuted. We've already seen that they are doing things like, I think they stalled for time a little bit just so they could get this DNA evidence in. We saw these kind of bouncing around with the motions. There was some stuff with the bonds. They kind of stretched this out a little bit and everything like that. And I think they were just waiting on that DNA evidence. So, anyways, according to the rumor mill itself, the start of the rumor mill comes from law enforcement talking with friends and family. If that's true, and it's not some conspiracy where people were seeing things ahead of time and then not turning it in. If this is true, then I'm still mad because, in my opinion, whoever betrayed the trust of these law enforcement people, they should be held accountable because, in my opinion, law enforcement deserves the right to unload and talk about what has happened to them with trusted friends and family without fear that somebody in that group is just going to use that for info for their own exploitations. I'm not talking about people that are just reporting on the news. I'm not talking about people who are just reporting on the rumors. I'm talking about the people who went out of their way to make up disgusting facts, find people like myself, and try to peddle these disgusting facts as fact when it wasn't. It's only half-truths and rumors. So I'm not talking about reporters. I'm talking about the people who were on the ground making crap up. And in no way, just because some of these rumors turned out to be true, in no way do I feel like that gives anybody the right to have done this in the first place. We could have just found out about this during the court dates, you know? In all due time, in my opinion. Anyways, I'm gonna try to calm down here, but I mean, there was people going out to gawk at the freaking crime scene like it was some horror holiday day trip. They are dehumanizing Cassidy Rainwater. They're basically doing similar things to what the murderers did. They're dehumanizing her. They're blatantly ignoring that she is a real person with family who were here and love her. So yeah, I'm a little heated. You all know my history with this kind of stuff. That being said, if you have a tip about this case, because I don't feel like it's done yet. I feel like there's some loose ends. I feel like law enforcement is going for this slam dunk case here, but I feel like there's more to this. If you have a tip, if you know anything about this case, anything at all, even if you think it is so minor, take the time to turn that tip in. It can be done in just a few seconds. You can use Crime Stoppers if you want to turn the tip in and then walk away, like you want nothing else to do with this. You can use Crime Stoppers. You go to Crime Stoppers website, you look up the area that the case is in, which is Dallas County, Missouri, or somewhere really close, like Lebanon would work, or even anything close to there. Then you use their anonymous source there. You type in all your info, and then you save a password, and you turn it in. And it's 100% anonymous. So you can do this by phone, you can do this online, you can do this with an app. And you can check on it later with your password. If you lose the password, you're kind of SOL. But, if you don't want to be involved, but you still want to turn in a tip, that's an excellent way to do it. If you have some ability to call the sheriff's office yourself, call the Dallas County Sheriff's Office yourself, and just directly give them a tip. But be willing to understand that you might have to go like on paper and in person and things like that. So that's basically all I had to say about this case. Thank you for watching. I will keep you updated. If you have thoughts that aren't, more rumor mill stuff, feel free to put them below. And again, there's a difference between contributing to solving a case and then just making up random crap. So don't be afraid to say what you feel, but at the same time just don't make up stuff, So okay, I will stop ranting. I love you guys. I hope you are well. I'll talk to you later. This is Mary out.